The fact that Congress has failed to referee between special interests and the public interest. They're saying that big oil money, they're believing
maybe we'll take one of each.
Okay. That sounds great.
Away from you there. Get oil. Okay, thank you.
What have you got, Gov?
One says they're different.
Yeah, I know. I got them both.
All right. Okay. Okay, there's Bill putting up on the.
I know.
We look like prisoners. Doesn't look like it.
I haven't blown a whistle in a long time. Thank you guys enormously for being here today. You know, some small part of this is a little celebration for the fact that all your work over the last few months really paid off. There are people here who got arrested in August, I know. And there are people here who circled the White House in November, I know. And there are people all over the country today doing this same thing, putting on these same shirts and starting to talk in this same way, because what we're about here today, in part, is going on offense. We've been playing defense for a long time, trying to stop bad things, and at least for the moment, we've slowed down one very bad thing, that Keystone Pipeline. And that's good news. And we owe a debt of thanks to the president, not only because he did the right thing, but because he did the right thing knowing that it was going to hurt. A week before the president made his decision to deny the permit, the head of the American Petroleum Institute said in public, if you do that, there will be huge political consequences. And these guys have the money to make good that threat. So, it wasn't just the right thing, it was a brave thing. But it's that money that we've got to start talking about, because that money is warping our political process in the worst possible ways. When the House of Representatives took a vote about Keystone, they voted 234 to 193 to speed up that Keystone approval process. And our friend Steve Kretzman at All Change International is here someplace. He and his team, within a few minutes, had crunched the numbers and were able to tell us that those 234 congressmen had taken $42 million from the fossil fuel industry. That's not right. It's just not right. We've gotten used to the idea that this is how things work in Washington, but it is not right that that is how they work, and we've got to start talking about that. 2 weeks from now, there's going to be the Super Bowl, okay? Now, I'm rooting for the Patriots because I'm from New England. All right? But I would be outraged if it turned out someone broke the story the day of the Super Bowl that the owner of the Patriots had been paying off the referees. I'd be outraged. It would be a national scandal. Every newspaper in America would be all over it. People would be up in arms. That exact same thing happens in Congress should be 10 times the scandal. That's why we're here, to blow the whistle on that kind of collusion. And the best example of it, and the thing we really want to start talking about today, is the fact that this year, as most years, Congress will vote to give subsidies to the fossil fuel industry, billions and billions of dollars in taxpayer money, not because they need a subsidy. We've known how to burn coal and gas and oil for 250 years. There's no secret to it that we need to subsidize for them to figure out. And it's not because they need the money. They're the most profitable industry on earth. Exxon made more money last year than any company in the history of money. What's going on instead is that they are giving small presents to our legislators, and in return our legislators are giving them big presents with our money. For every dollar that they spend in campaign donations to the fossil fuel industry, they get $320 in subsidies. It's wrong and stupid and not gonna happen unchallenged anymore. That's why we're so glad to have, among other things, a couple of the people here who have been huge champions in this Keystone fight and in every energy and environmental fight that we have, and in the fight for a clean government. As a Vermonter, it's an enormous honor to bring up my fellow Vermonter, senator who just introduced legislation that would amend the Constitution to overturn this kind of corporate power and get us back on some kind of small d democratic footing. He's a small d Democrat, large I independent himself from the Green Mountain State, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Let me thank 350.org for the work you have done recently and the work that you have done for the last several years. You know as well as I do that the future of this country is not with the burning of oil and coal and fossil fuel. You know as I do that we have got to save this planet, reverse global warming, transform our energy system, and move to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And thank you for helping us move in that direction. Now, as Bill just mentioned, and I want to thank Bill McKibben from Ripton, Vermont, for all of the great work that he and you have done. But as Bill just mentioned, one of the absurdities that goes on right here in Washington, D.C. is that Congress keeps voting not for the interests of our children, not for the interest of the future, but for the profits of the huge oil companies and the coal companies. And what we have got to say, as people who are concerned about the future of this planet, that not only do we have to transform our energy system, but starting now, we have got to end all of the subsidies, all of the tax breaks that go to the oil companies, that go to the coal companies, and I'm going to be introducing legislation to do just that. Now, people talk about the economy and people talk about jobs, and that is a huge issue. Because we have got to put the American people back to work. And you know how you do that? The way you do that is through making sure that every building in this country is energy efficient. The way you do that is to make sure that we get cars that get 50, 60 miles per gallon. The way you do that is to move aggressively to wind, solar, geothermal, biomass, and other sustainable energies. And when you do that, you reverse global warming, you make America a leader in creating jobs, helping out countries all over the world, and we're going to save the planet for our kids and our grandchildren. Now, when Bill McKibben talks about the absurdities of subsidies for companies who don't need it, let me mention to you that just recently, in the year 2009, ExxonMobil, the most profitable corporation in the history of the world, made $19 billion in profit, did not pay a nickel in federal taxes, and got a rebate from the IRS. And it's not just ExxonMobil. There's other oil companies, other coal companies. So what we are saying today is that the future of this planet, and in many ways the future of our economy, suggests that we have got to radically change the way we do energy in America, that we've got to transform our energy system. And one of the important things that we have got to do, not tomorrow, but today, is to end tax breaks and other subsidies for the fossil fuel industry that most certainly doesn't need them. So I want to congratulate all of you and Bill and the many, many hundreds of thousands of people who are not here today but are working aggressively on this issue. Thank you for what you've done in defeating the Keystone XL project. Thank you for what you are doing in making sure that Congress is going to deal with the planetary crisis of global warming. Thank you for helping us move in the direction of creating jobs as we transform our energy system. And thank you for today stating loudly and clearly that the largest oil companies in this world, the most profitable corporations in this world, do not need tax breaks from the American people and do not need other forms of subsidy. Thank you very much.